What's going on YouTube? My name is Simon Sniped and welcome to the channel. In today's video, we're going to take a look at whether or not you should pull for Serapel. Now, I'll first introduce her significance in both PvE and PvP, what role she plays in them, and finally a detailed look at her stats and skills. Now, if you'd like to skip to just my verdict of the unit, feel free to jump to the end using the timestamps in the description below. If you have any questions about the unit that I might not have addressed, do leave it in the comment section below, leave a like if you found this useful, and subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more content like this. With that out of the way, sit back, relax, because this is gonna be one hell of a painful, pleasure, sadistic ride. Serapel is a 4-cost defender class counter unit who does her job really well. Now, with the right conditions, not only can she dish out considerable amount of damage, but also absorb and heal a sizable amount of incoming damage as well. Her basic attacks don't really do much damage, but can target ground and air units, making her the only defender right now, before the arrival of Awakened Nayubin, to be able to hit things in the air. Now, due to her masochistic nature, she offers both valid hit absorption and damage sharing for her team within a certain radius. This is really huge because it means squishy things around her becomes a lot more tankier, and tanky allies become even more tankier with her around. Now, to look at Serapel in a more practical sense, Serapel is a unit that will heal herself when she casts a special skill, taunts enemies within range of it, and activates an AoE passive that takes 50% of the incoming direct damage received by your allies within a certain range. She also punishes any enemy who neglects healing themselves, as anyone who hits her takes HP percentage damage too. Serapel's biggest weakness is that she has 0 evasion by default, meaning she'll never be able to dodge any CC effects such as knockback, knockdown, and etc. So if she's up against an enemy that does a lot of that, she becomes significantly less effective. In most PvE situations, she's an amazing frontline to help out with any striker or ranger heavy team comps. I won't touch on the campaign mode, as any units can work with sufficient level and gears, so for today's point of discussion, we'll only consider the more challenging modes such as the raids, guild co-op battles, dives, and danger close. In raids and guild co-op battles where the boss does so much damage, Serapel makes it possible for any front and mid lines to survive hits they usually can't. She also allows you to delay deploying healing units due to her self-healing abilities, and what's more, she provides valid hit absorption to the team as well. Now, if you're wondering what valid hit absorption actually is, it is the ability to reduce the incoming damage to all ally units in the field as long as the unit with this ability is present. Now, the damage pop-up effect is shown with the protect word next to it. Moving on to how she fares in PvP, Serapel is one of the more common go-to defender units to use if, let's say, that meta-specific weak does not make defenders unplayable. She works amazingly well in stall or camping teams because in PvP matches that are usually so fast-paced, her entire skill kit gives her a significant advantage on survivability. Her burn damage to anything that hits her also has no valid hits, which means it doesn't matter if there's a ton of strikers at the front, everything will receive equal damage as long as her skills are active. You usually use Serapel together with another unit front line to reduce the direct damage received, which would overwhelm her due to her already absorbing the damage from allies around her when her special skill is active. I said something extremely long, but what I'm trying to say is you want something to soak some damage for her as well, because she's already helping everyone else around her take damage. With the support to heal her and units to share direct incoming damage, you'll sometimes see that she does the most overall healing and damage in a PvP match. Now let's talk about the more technical side of Serapel. Serapel is by nature a defender class unit, which also means her stats are distributed to mostly HP and defense. Rightfully so, she really has a lot of them. What makes her unique is her evasion stat, which is completely 0. This information is crucial because it directly affects how she is played and how she reacts to certain conditions. It is also not advisable to give her any evasion stats through gears because they are just not going to be enough to make any difference. Moving on to her skill kit, like I mentioned before, her basic attack hits both air and ground. Now, what makes her interesting is a passive skill, Masochistic Creator, which increases her base attack by 1% every time she is hit with an attack up to 99%. But this isn't the point. What makes this skill so good is that the fact that in PvP, enemy units who actually hits her gets hit with a dot damage that reduces 4.5% of their max HP in the span of 3 seconds. Now, often this contributes to a huge chunk of total DPS in a PvP match. As for his special skill, Painful Monopoly, she heals herself for 30% of her max HP and activates an AoE passive effect that absorbs 50% of all direct damage received by any allies around it while taunting enemies at the same time. And for ultimate skill Lacrimosa, it does AoE damage and stuns everybody for 2 seconds at max level. Last but not least, it's really easy to build her best installed gears. She works best with 2 HP sets and a lot of resistance substats such as the anti-ground or anti-air depending on who is the most threatening enemy she faces. And we've covered all that I like to share about Serapel. Now with that, I like to give Serapel my overall verdict with a solid score of 9 out of 10. She is a must-pull unit if you can do so because she's just such a unique defender that does her job so well. There isn't any other who actually has a kit that's similar to hers where she taunts, she heals, and she even burns. So it's really a no-brainer. Don't skip her if you can help it, and that's basically all I have to say. So that's it for this video. I hope you found the info that you need and, the video just generally being helpful. And until the next one, I'll see you guys again soon. Bye!